Hello, WVBR 93.5. I'm Anna, and we are live at the station with the band Melt. Melt, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ron. I'm the singer in the band Melt.
Hey, I'm Lucas. I play bass in Melt.
Hi, I'm Marlo. I play guitar in Melt.
And I'm Ryan here at WVBR. We've got an exclusive Veronica's Apology acoustic edit from Melt that you'll be hearing up next.
We used to dance out of desperation when I was feeling low, making the best out of a shitty situation. I loved you so deep and I lost you so slow.
Hello, and welcome back to WVBR 93.5. That last song was Plant the Garden by Melt, who's live in the studio with us. They're playing a show tonight at Deep Dive at 8 p.m. Do you guys want to tell us a little bit about the album you released, If There's a Heaven, which was released in September? What was it like recording your first album?
Oh my God. It was amazing. We made the album near Woodstock in upstate New York. So kept it all in New York, mixed, mastered, and recorded in our home state. But we made it in December. It was like snowy, beautiful winter in a log cabin, basically. We were like taking dips in the river, going into the studio. It was awesome. It was like some much needed family time together. And it feels like the first thing that really sounds like us. So we're really proud of it.
Yeah, we're very much a live band, so a lot of the recording process was us all in one room in like a very tight circle doing live takes of the songs, and that kind of set the foundation of the record and like the energy that feels the most us.
Totally. I'm kind of like neurotic when it comes to vocal takes, so if left to my own devices, I'll do a line like 18 times, but our producer, Sam Evian, only let me do 3 takes down of each song. So it was very much in that ethos, just like, let it happen.
Yeah, so it sounds like a lot of the songs came from a sort of like live origin. We're wondering, what was your favorite song to play throughout your shows from the album?
Ooh. Marlo, do you have a fave?
I always love playing Veronica's Apology in our live set, because if you put it after an earlier era Melt song, it really has like a lift. So
Marlo's like the set list guru. Like,
yeah, it's just like,
really
boom, we're here.
Like
we are at
I love a good set list.
Ushers in the new era.
Oh, it's so important. We used to make our set list. We used to like label songs with colors based on like the mood. Like, this one's kind of dark, this one's also kind of dark and depressing, this one's kind of uplifting, and we would like sit down and rearrange them on the coffee table.
I remember for the Brooklyn Steel gig in 2023, we like wrote them out on a bunch of index cards and like had a huge spread of like 20 songs and like rearranged them in different orders, and it felt very like super in depth.
Also, the band, we've never plugged this, but we actually have a set list website called meltbase.com.
Oh my God.
Where all of our set lists are on there. And I think that it's kind of unusual because we probably have 20 songs in our live discography, but we still switch the set list almost every night. I don't know how we managed to do that. But it's just funny. I see some friends' bands who are like, we just went on a 5-week tour. We played 100 songs and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, like we talk about how we are going to rearrange these same songs every night. But I think it's just something that we like to do to make sure that whatever we're feeling and is translating at that moment gets across.
No, that's really cool. And having them all online, it's kind of like a playlist recommendation for fans, like even if they couldn't see the show.
Yeah.
They can still.
Yeah, there's little show notes too. Like if something notable happens, Like there's one
Yeah.
where it's Veronica's guitar debut.
This is Melt's best kept secret. We
It
have never
is.
publicly talked about this website, so
Yeah.
Well, you're hearing it first.
Melt
Bass.
Meltbase.com.
Space.com. You're hearing it first here on WVBR.
Our secret website. No one's ever been to.
The last time we played in Ithaca, this would be like a show note. The power went out like 3 times during our set.
Oh my gosh.
So
We have a lot of
you'll
show
find that on
notes.
meltbase.com.
yeah, we sang Communion a cappella.
That's
Remember that?
In fact, we mean you.
I sang
Yeah.
Communion a cappella.
that's
Yeah,
kind
the
of
power.
awesome though. Like it makes the show more special. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
You guys had, so your first song Sour Candy was very successful in 2017, and then you guys went to college right after that. What was that like, finding like a first hit and then, you know, moving elsewhere so early on in the band's career?
It's so funny now being like 8 years into this. We never could have imagined that this would still be our career better part of a decade later. But now our whole lives are like kind of about trying to find that moment. Like we try to not think about it too much and just make the music. But in terms of like making a living at this, like you want those moments where something really takes off. But at the time, we were so green and just like having fun. We didn't even think like, oh, let's take a year off and like go to LA and do this music thing. We were all like, okay, well, we're all going to college. Like most of us didn't even study music. And we were like playing shows on the weekends. I was taking classes like Monday through Wednesday, studying nuclear weapons policy. And then we'd like meet up in Nashville on Thursday and do a weekend run. But super lucky how it all panned out.
Yeah, I think it's like actually, speaking of Cornell, one of our marketing techniques at the time was when if you get into college, you join these, like, I don't know if this is still a thing, the Facebook like roommate search thing.
Like Instagram now, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. But at the time, back in the day, 8 years ago, it was on Facebook, and there were like 10,000 people in these groups. So I posted in a bunch of these colleges pretending that I was going to go to said colleges. And I think one was actually Cornell.
Oh, that's really funny.
It was just like Facebook was really a thing at this time. And it was like our moms posting about the video and random Facebook groups. So
you were trolling people. They were probably excited. They were like, I'm a roommate with this girl, and like
totally.
her
Oh,
band
yeah, I
has
applied for a
successful
dorm and
single.
everything, so.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. If we have any listeners, I think we can roll into the on-air giveaway. Ryan, do you want to read out the...
Yes, absolutely. So as we've mentioned, Melt is playing tonight at Ithaca's own Deep Dive. We're fortunate to be able to give away 2 tickets to some lucky individuals. Melt has been called One Groovy Superorganism by NPR and Pop Jazz Espresso by Live for Live Music. And they're fresh off the release of their first album, The Dynamic If There's a Heaven. Right now you can win a pair of tickets to the concert if you're my third caller on the WVBR listener line at 607-273-2121. Again, that's 607-273-2121.
And while we wait for callers, we're going to play the song Heaven by Melt from their new album. Thanks for listening.
Everybody's getting in. Ooh, goddamn, if it takes so many tries to be alive, I'd rather take the punch than miss the fight. And if I'm going down, it's only 'cause I'm ready.
You're listening to WVBR. We're here with Melt Band. They're playing tonight at 8 p.m. at Ithaca's own Deep Dive.
Shout out to our caller, Christina. You are the winner of the ticket giveaway. Though we did have some trouble finding your full phone number. So if you want to DM WVBR-FM on Instagram, we will send the tickets your way.
Let's go, Christina.
Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, shout out Christina. Okay, we have a couple more
Yes.
questions for Melt.
All right, my next question here. I'm from New York City myself, and I noticed that throughout the If There's a Heaven album, you guys have a lot of references to like taxis or to... You have the West Side, the subways. I really love the West Side Highway name for your EP because I'm from the Upper West Side and I live right next to the highway. And so I'm wondering, how do you guys draw inspiration from the city? And what does it mean to your music to be recording and based there?
It's everything. We were born and raised in NYC, and we actually, the Upper West Side was like our HQ for many, many years, making that EP especially. But I think for me personally, like, I'm kind of a 50-50 mix between drawing inspiration from like solitude and nature and drawing inspiration from meeting new people every day in the city and just like the vibe of New York City. And something that was fun about this album is we got to go upstate to make it, and in a really peaceful, calm headspace, but we got to draw on all of our experiences growing up, living in New York City, all the funky people you meet there. So
yeah, I think also like overall the type of music that we've made and are making, it's a very East Coast scene. And I think that there's something about being New York City that makes it a little bit, the band model, just something that's more like common, I would say, or feasible. I don't know. There's so many people, and it's easier to get together and that sort of thing. As I think, you know, in LA, it's a lot of more of like solo artist career pursuits. So I think it's like this haven for us.
I think there's like also a big aspect of being a part of a great community in New York. And that's, I think, one of the best parts about being there is that every type of music has such a deep scene and a lot of people that are making it and doing their own thing. So I think that's personally where a lot of inspiration comes from. It's just all the artists around us and and people trying new things.
And in the last few years, we've really transitioned to a lot of our team being peers, artists from New York City who are on the road with us, which is just like really filling and fun.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
What are some of your favorite venues that you've played at coming up in New York City?
I have so many. I went to college in New York and I was playing around the city a lot. And Brooklyn Steel, that we've played multiple times, is like top tier for me. Also Sultan Room, great venue. We've played at Mercury Lounge a lot. Like that's kind of where Melt built up a bunch. Like we played there 5 times or something like that.
That was our first sellout.
That was our
like
first
sellout.
Awesome. Yeah, Mercury Lounge.
You know, actually, I think we sold out our first gig ever on the Upper West Side at Prohibition Bar.
Bar. Wow,
but that kind of felt like it counted less in a weird way because it was literally just like every single person we knew from high school. So it was like a little different than a Mercury Lounge sellout.
Tickets at the door.
Yeah. But yes,
that's fun though. It's a good first
My parents
concert.
might have been there that night. Prohibition.
So
like I live right there. That's awesome.
Yeah, we were right there.
Webster Hall.
Webster Hall.
A couple blocks from where I grew up.
Yeah.
Endless.
Also Music Hall Williamsburg.
Oh,
that was like our first big
place.
post-COVID show. It was in 2021, I think, December. And I felt like our whole lives, or like that whole year, was just centered around that show. Like every day we're like, oh my God, it's 50 days away. It's 49 days away. Like that was the energy we had going into that. And it was this really, like it was a packed, for people who haven't been to that room, it's like a general admission floor and general admission second level if it's open up there. But it was just so cool. Like I feel like it was the perfect room for the perfect age and time that we were.
I think also like the jump from like a 200 or 300 cap venue to like a 700 cap venue is so distinct because it's like you walk out and you're just like, oh my God, like there's people here. And that was kind of the first time that we headlined a show that was like sold out in the city, and it was a venue of that size.
Yeah.
Good experience.
Okay, and then our last question for you guys is, especially because so much of our listenership is music-loving students, and we have students like Ryan here who are in bands. What's your guys' advice to any college-aged bands and musicians hoping to get their band out there more?
Whoa.
I think just do it because I always think of it this way. I don't know if this makes any sense, but like how many bands are there really? You know, like if you just are a band and you pursue it and you are able to like get on any local support, like look at who's coming in the deep dive and if there's support or not on those gigs, and reach out to whoever the artist is and their management and just try to get on that and see if like where are they going next, and if you can route like a weekend around that artist. Like that would be one small thing, and then I feel like that sort of mentality opens up the door to reaching out to festivals, getting on festivals, like just releasing music and content and grinding at it, I think it does actually do a lot. And I think especially like in college is the time to think about nothing else.
We're also like in such a content world right now, quote unquote, and I do think like the way we grew was just like playing shows. And I think you're so right, Marlo, like persistence is kind of everything. Like there are so many bands who we met once who I like never would have, I don't know, I would never would have thought we'd meet again, but they were the ones who just like kept going, and I'm still seeing their names pop up, and like just nothing beats having a grassroots group of people who have a great experience linked to seeing your show, who will come out again and like have fun. So obviously like we're living in a digital world, but also just like it's food for the soul. Like nothing beats playing a live show and being in a room with people. So just remember that that's, I don't know, that's like such a great reward.
Well, also like what happens when and if TikTok disappears, you know, like it's just like be careful with the digital baskets you put your eggs in, I guess, because who knows like really what's happening. And then if someone's saw you and had that experience, like it stays with them forever. And also something we've been learning is that a lot of people are also taking social media breaks. So it's I reached out to a friend yesterday saying like Friday, thinking she would know what I meant. She was like, what are you talking about? You know, and I was like, I'm playing a show in your town, and you just you didn't even know. But here's like a better example is we were in Seattle at a coffee shop waiting in line, and someone came up to us and was like, oh my God, are you Melt? And he had seen us before but had no idea we were even playing in Seattle that night. So like it's thinking like beyond social media too, also the best of your abilities, like getting emails, newsletters, all that sort of thing.
Be scrappy. I think it's a big thing that's also still part of our mentality. It's just like pulling on any resource that you have, coming up with like wacky or, you know, just
out of the box
ideas.
Yeah, our friend has Dos Amigos taco shop here. And
shout
you
out
know,
Dos
we
Amigos.
shout out and we, you know, he's helping us get some food today, so shout out Dos Amigos, check it out.
Make friends. And also the last thing I'll say is like I don't know if other people listening to this relate, but when I was a student, I was like studying something completely different, and I always felt very pulled between being an artist and being an academic, or like being serious and being silly. And I think the thing that I realized through the process of being an artist in college was just that dichotomy does not exist. Like you are a full person with multiple interests. You're always going to have multiple interests. And whether it's writing an essay or writing a song, like that's just how you're expressing how you see the world. And so just do all of it. Like just keep expressing. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's great advice. Well, thank you so much for coming tonight, Melt. If you're listening, make sure to be at Deep Dive tonight at 8 p.m. There's still some tickets online and at the door. We're going to close the show out with Melt's breakout hit, Sour
Before you guys
Candy.
leave, we have a really special question. Our secretary here at WVBR really wanted us to ask you guys about Mr. Makos.
Oh, wait, hold up. I think that's a teacher of mine. Mr. Makos.
He's a jazz teacher.
Yeah, at my high school.
Oh my
Dude. Oh my God. Hi, Mr. Makos. Love you.
Mr. Makos, if you're listening, shout out to you.
Literally holding that music department on his back when I was in high school. Sorry, that took a second, but shout out music educators. So epic.
Yeah.
Love it.
Shout out all our
Thanks,
teachers
Mr.
growing up.
Makos.
Okay, thank you, Mel. Thank you, Mr. Makos. See you tonight at Deep Dive.